Wonderful. And good afternoon. And how are you doing today? Oh my goodness, it's been a wonderful morning thus far with the program. I'm so grateful that Ken, you've definitely brought so many amazing authors to the table today. And right now we have the next one, which is Miss Hodges. How are you doing today, superstar?
I am doing fabulous. So happy to be here.
Wonderful, Carol. Well, we're looking forward to learning so much about you as well. Where are you based out of, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm in the San Diego area. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes, I was in San Diego area earlier this year, right there with Ken, alongside with Greg Reed and so many other incredible authors. So I'm looking so forward to hearing from you. Are you ready? Are you ready to pour into us?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, take it away, Miss Carole Hodges. Okay.
I'm so glad I have a female host because my book is The Menopause Millionaire, and it's keys to prosperity and meaning in the second half of life. So, obviously, a book written mostly for women and a little different approach. I will tell you that this book came out of a lot of challenges. And it wasn't till later I realized that at midlife, when my body was changing, was when all of these occurred. And I have a belief that all of us, we learn from our challenges. And this is really, I dedicated my book to that because what happened to me was rather unusual, but I'm sure there are people who've had it worse. But in 1 year, I lost my daughter to suicide and had a full bankruptcy, lost our house and divorced. And I will tell you, it was a time in my life I was just paddling hard to stay afloat because there's no way you can prepare for anything like that. And so I have well, a great feeling and support for anybody who's facing challenges. And it wasn't till much later that I even realized that that was all within 1 year. Honestly, it was at least a decade that I recognized that. And I recently met someone who helps people with grief. And I said, I didn't have time to experience the grief over losing my daughter because I took a new job 2 weeks after her funeral. And I just kept on going. But my book isn't all about that. It's part of it because I think people need to realize that they will have their own challenges. Mine were unique to me. And the wonderful thing about this human adventure that we have is that each of us are absolutely unique, and you will have your own adventures, as I call them. And this is a critical understanding of some of my philosophy is that this is a, our human life adventure. And like a game, like what we do for fun, imagine for fun, we go and we hop on a roller coaster and you go climbing slowly to the top. And then as you reach the top for a second, you can see the world. And then you go down the backside screaming. Well, this is what humans do for fun. I think we'd probably be bored if every day was just perfect and it was all the same. So I know that everybody has had challenges. In my book, The Menopause Millionaire, what I do is I've been a coach for more than 20 years. And what I realize is that what's helpful as you go through life is to have some questions that enable you to look at yourself. And what I've done in my book is to first of all take you through menopause, which that's a kick in itself. The little sweater dance of it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. and some crazy things when my mind kind of left me, which, it's one thing if you're on your all by yourself, but my mind left me when had picked up the phone and I was at work making an announcement that went live to everyone. And I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well, I got ribs the whole day because I finally just said, I think I'm having a blonde moment, and had to hang up and call back again. So it helps if you can laugh at yourself as you're going through menopause. Now, because I had a divorce at that time, my book also includes relationships. In other words, your relationship will change. And even if you're happily married, if you've had kids and they've grown up and left, well, all of a sudden, you aren't parents with little kids anymore. Things change and people change. Some of your values change. So I have guidance to begin to look at that. And if you happen to be like me, where you realize that some things are irreconcilable and you divorce, well, there is that area of dating. I had no idea how to date. Certainly, I had done it, but I was a teenager and in my early 20s when I dated. And it was a period of time where, I mean, think about it in high school. For a woman, if a guy is cute and he's available, well, heck, that's fair game. That is not great criteria when you reach the middle of life because you each have baggage that you're bringing with you, and you have developed a lot of understanding about life that you did not have when you were younger. I found that, first of all, I was grateful after a while that I had dated for 15 years because it was a time of finding myself. I did not know what I actually needed, and dating helped me realize that. There are questions to help you grow. So at the end of each chapter, I've put questions so that this is, well, it's a story of my life, but it's also a deeper understanding of yourself. Now, the reason I called it the Menopause Millionaire, I happen to have had an incident where for our business, I picked up a check for $1,043,000. And on the way back, with that check sitting next to me in my car, I was coming across a bridge up in San Francisco and I got rear-ended in traffic. That was the first time that $1 million made a difference to me. I looked at the car behind me that was completely falling apart. Obviously, the person couldn't afford to even keep paint on the car. So I decided that as I looked at that check next to me, I was not going to get out of the car and I was not going to worry about it. I just continued to drove home. So it did make a difference then. And then I found out it didn't really go very far. And part of my learning was to get into the financial industry, which I did for 10 years. And during that time, I recognized what I did not know. When you're preparing for retirement, and believe me, at menopause, retirement has a date that is going to come. And you must, if you have not done a lot before menopause, please, you must stop and actually understand money and save. And I go through a variety of ways of things that you should know. Now, there is no, you don't look for financial plan in here. What I have instead is some guidance to take you through. So I've done my best to give you a whole variety of things to look at menopause, at midlife.